And wow, if you've read that, and I left it on the screen for a while so that you can read it. I'm reading Elliot Hulse's book, King, which is not released yet, but because I'm in his email list, he released it for all his like VIP, you could say the VIP email listers, and it was a little more expensive, a more expensive book than what I usually pay for. It was about $27 plus like shipping and handling. Came up to like came up to like $40, something like that. It was like 28, but like shipping and handling for some reason was like $12. Anyway, never mind that. And I've been reading through the book. I've been speed reading kind of. So some parts that I feel like they don't call out to me right now. I don't relate to them right now. Whether that was like the whole first half of it was about being athletic. It's about like training your body, going to the gym and doing different kind of movements, because the body and the mind are together. So I fast forwarded pretty much to the nutrition part, because nutrition I can do. Right now I'm trying to build an empire, so building the body is something I do kind of part-time. So I want to read that. I want to get to the next book. I want to read more books on relationships. That's my core focus, is that. And I'm like, when I, hopefully the day comes soon when I'm making a good amount of money that I can hire someone to teach me all this. Yes, it's in the book and I could teach myself, but that'll take longer. I'd rather just pay someone to just give me everything quicker, so it's 100 times versus just reading a book and trying to figure it out myself. I could just go to Florida. Hey Elliot, I got money here, can you train me? And that's it. And that's the goal that I want. So I didn't even read that. I just did the nutrition part, which I want to follow. And of course I went through like the parts about the bioenergetics, because that's something I can do, is like dynamic meditations and seasons of life, the daily rhythms, all this stuff that I got. I learned a little bit more than what I knew. And I came across this is not a book review, by the way, this is just a stream of consciousness. I know I've been very irregular with my videos over the past several weeks. I've been very irregular, trying to change the date, and then sometimes I miss the date. I've been very irregular, and that has everything to do with me. And I read that part, if you've read it before, about like, being Adam, the alienated ego, and divorcing from unconsciousness, which is the Garden of Eden. So he's going into a lot of mythology and religious aspects, and I'm not religious at all, actually. And this part kind of like, I read through it because it was a whole part on the winter of alienation. And he talks about the development of ego. He uses like Hercules falling from Olympus and getting off of Hera's breast. So he must have been like in the unconscious state. And he's talking about like the hero's journey and everything like that. And came to a part that the ego, us, we are always searching for the Holy Grail. And we know that there's a greater state of life than where we're at. And we just don't know where to begin. And yes, most of my friends that I've spoken to about this are like, but you're on the right track. But then I say in my head, but am I actually on the right track? Am I doing something wrong that in a few years I'll be like, shit, I invested all this time in it, and now it's way. And you hear these things. A lot of the people that I follow say, just stick to it. Failure is no such thing as failure. Failure is when you give up. And I'm far from giving up. I'm just having a very low point right now. And that's why I like what he says here when he's like, like you feel like life is becoming a wasteland and increasingly devoid of meaning because there's something bigger out there, and I've been having lots of existential crises. Sorry, I can't pronounce. It's hard for me to pronounce that. Like an existence crisis, and it's like you get into despair. You want to be alone. You argue with the ones that you love because they won't understand, and you feel like you're not coming home. As of now, I'm living with my mom, and there's reasons for this. I'm stuck in between something. Like something is supposed to come to me, a job. I'm supposed to leave the Americas and work out of state, and it's a long process. Visas, work permits, all this stuff. I didn't know would be like this, and it totally is. So I'm in a state of like, I don't know what to do with myself. I don't want to look for a job. I'm working on my stuff, but like I know that's not gonna happen overnight. You know, I can come out with a book, I can make dozens of products, but if I don't have the right marketing, it's not gonna go anywhere. No one's gonna see it. No matter how amazing this product may be, may not be, if I don't have eyes seeing it, what makes you think I'll make a living off of it? And this is kind of like a journal entry, but I want to share it with you if you're going through the same thing. And you go through this as I am, if you have before, and you're always constantly thinking like, damn, I can't do anything, I'm kind of stuck. Because if you try to go for something long term, I don't want to just go for something. Let's say I go for a job now to like pay like I get some kind of payment, some kind of check in the mail every week or every other week to sustain myself, to move out of my mom's house, because I come back here to like save up some money, and then so that when I leave I have a good amount of money hanging in my bank account. So I have, when I go to this country, which will be in China, I have some money to start with. Along with that, I have to pay for my ticket. So they do pay me back, but not right. Not like, here's a check, buy your ticket to come. No, I gotta buy the ticket first, and then they give me the check. So it's just being in the state of not knowing what to do. I've been trying, I've been looking for temp jobs, something I could do temporary, whether that's like, oh, maybe some kind of event is going, let me be there and like sell tickets for the event, which is like a 1 day, 2 day thing. You get paid for it and that's it. I've been looking for stuff like that. I haven't had much luck. I tried care.com, looking for jobs where I could just like take care of people's dogs, do some like house cleaning, picking up groceries for people, just to make a few bucks till I leave. And I'm already humbled in this, I don't mind doing any of that. I lived alone, so I learned a lot. I know how to clean, I know how to cook, I know how to pick out groceries, and all that stuff. You learn that as you live alone for a little while. But nothing's coming, and it brings you lower and lower. It's like when someone lost a job and they can't find anything else, and they're on the brink of despair. I quit my job, that was my fault. It's something I regret sometimes, but sometimes I'm like, it was probably for the best, and maybe in the future I will say it was for the best. Right now I don't think that way. And reading this, he says life moves in cycles, and that's what I want to get to. No, I'm like rambling, but life moves in cycles. And he says that last paragraph, if you read it, life in my experience moves in cycles, and it is during our lowest point, right when we hit rock bottom and almost lose hope, that God, the universe, the archetypal self reaches out to us. And maybe I haven't hit my lowest point yet. I have a pretty good net, you could say. I have family that loves me. I'm lucky in that area with love when it comes to my relationships with people around me. I'm lucky. With everything else, not so much recently, but in my experience of life, and I hope this helps you, my experience of life is like everything tends to work itself out as long as you're taking some kind of action, even if it's very little. You know, you're only doing something 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day. It may take longer, but it will tend to work itself out. Maybe you might meet the right person that might like give you that guidance, to give you that extra light, or show you a different door to go down and be like, hey, you've been going down the wrong way, man. Let me show you. And they open the door for you and you kind of start figuring things out. But that doesn't happen overnight. We have to be patient. And over the last, I quit my job. It's been 3 months since I quit my job. Ever since then, it's like, you know, the doors, I'm going through them, it's like darkness. And I might find a glimmer of light, and I have to go to another door. Another glimmer of light, go to another door. And it's just those glimmers of light are eventually going to lead to the biggest. I'm going to go open that door and it's just going to be the bright light and be like, yes, I found it. And I can finally see everything clearly in front of me. Because right now it's like I see this and that. I see a little bit over there. Maybe that dim light over there. But I don't see the whole picture. And I'm trying to connect it. I'm trying to connect the clues, putting them together. But they're not making sense. And I'm reading this book right now because I was like, maybe the next book can be it. The next book can be the thing to like flip that switch in your head, turn on that light where you put everything together and you're like, holy shit. And it might not be one book. Every book is giving me an extra clue on what I gotta do. And now it's just my biggest enemy, you could say, is time right now. When and things are out of my control. When is anything of me leaving to work in this new country? When is this gonna happen? They don't know. I don't know. It's all out of my hands. So it just takes patience. Something that's out of my control. But like I learned in the book Obstacle is the Way, there is something in my control, and that's my emotions. That's what's going on in here and what's going on in here. And I hope maybe this video, I'll watch it in a few months from now and be like, wow, this is mostly, I'm doing this for me. And a lot of guys that follow, and a lot of guys that inspire me and that I watch, they started everything for themselves. And yes, they may have been in a hard place and they needed money, but they did it for themselves. They didn't do it for anyone else. That's why I strongly believe when I talk about the relationship with yourself is everything. Spending time alone, and figuring out, pondering, thinking about the future and thinking about what you have now. And it's good to be humble sometimes. Humble in knowing that everything is going to work out and what you have works. Whatever you have works for you. You know, I'm living in my mom's house. You think I want to? It's been 3 years ago I left. Got my own place and I vowed never to go back. But I ate my pride and came back because I was like, I want to save some money. I'll be leaving the country anyway. I'm not going to see my family for over a year. So I want to spend as much time with them as possible. But sometimes I just need the time alone. I just don't have money to like rent out a hotel and just be like, hey, I'm just going to stay here. It doesn't happen that way. But yeah, that's it for my little stream of unconsciousness. I'm going to call this like a journal entry. And a journal entry that is public. That maybe you guys can hold me accountable. Maybe make your own videos. I'm just going to end it here.